Hi, everyone. I'm Jill with Aviatra Accelerators. I'm so excited to welcome you to the Accelerate Your Income free 5-day challenge. So just a teeny little bit about Aviatra, although you probably have already heard of us. We help women entrepreneurs start and grow their businesses and get them funded so that they can have profitable, sustainable companies that are built around their passions and their skills. So there comes a point in time after the business is started when you're working really, really hard and you're perhaps not making the money yet that you really want to be making. And so that's why this challenge is really helpful. And the program that follows this challenge that you'll be invited to join, called Fuel Your Startup Income Accelerator. So that's why we created these. And it's a lot of times you're working really hard, but it doesn't mean that you are doing anything wrong. It just might mean that you're not focusing on the right things right now. So that's what we're going to talk about in this 5-day challenge. So day one here, I'm going to share my screen. Everybody see that slide? Great. So I'm just going to give a little overview on what to expect this week. So day one is focusing on mindset and confidence that you really need to get past your income barriers that might be in your mind. Then find your people is day two. So this is, of course, once you have your business going, you really need some customers. And so this is finding your customers. Then day three is talking about messaging. And this is really about how you're talking about what you do and making sure that it connects with the customers that you want to get, your ideal customers. Day four is about, we call it the yes factor. This is really about customer conversion. So days 2 and 3 are more around attracting the customers, finding and attracting them. And then day 4 is about converting them into paying customers. And then day 5 is, where am I going here? There we go. Day 5. Day 5 is kind of pulling it all together. So taking the mindset shifts and these other strategies and reverse engineering your income goals to make sure that you have a plan to reach them. And so that's the summary of what we're working on this week. If anyone has not gotten the guide yet, there is the link. And I'm going to put that also in the chat. Let me pull my links up here. So that's for the workbook, and it should be fillable. So you should be able to type while we're doing the presentation if you want to. Okay. So now that everybody has hopefully gotten, I'm going to leave this on one more second for Krista to make sure that she gets the link. Hi, Krista. I'm leaving this up for you just in case you had not yet downloaded your action guide. There it is. And I'm going to put it back in the chat again because you won't have seen that earlier chat. Okay. So today, as I mentioned, if I could get my thing to advance, there we go, is really about the confidence shifts that you need to earn more. So even though we don't want to admit it, there probably are some stories that we have been raised with or that we have sort of told ourselves based on what we've experienced in our own lives and our own business about money. There's money doesn't grow on trees. There's, you can't take it with you when you die, right? There's those two conflicting things. There's our own, whatever other stories we tell ourselves, or, I have to be working. If I'm not hustling, I'm not earning, I don't deserve the money. I've heard people who were raised with, rich people are evil. And so even though we don't necessarily believe that intellectually, it sometimes holds us back because that's, something that we were raised with, and we don't want it to hold us back, but sometimes it does. And so today is really thinking through some of those mindset things that are connected to the confidence that we need to effectively sell. So let's get rolling. So this is how I want you to be after, after day one, when you feel really good and you feel really connected to your mission and your goals for selling and for being a successful business owner. So super briefly, if you haven't met all of our team yet, that's me in the middle, of course. Then we have Patrice Adams. She's our community manager. And we have Jasmine Hughes, who is our marketing and development director. So these are some of the business owners that have come through Aviatra, and they have reached $1 million or more. There's one of them on there who's on her way, hasn't quite hit it yet, but this year I think she will. And so a lot of them have done it many, many times over. So here's the question. What are these women doing that you are not doing? Why have they been able to make $1 million and you have not yet gotten there? So honestly, like I said, they're probably not doing much that you are not doing. They have more clarity though. Also, they've probably been doing it longer than you have. So we don't have to have any, guilt or pressure that you haven't yet made the $1 million. But I think it's worth thinking through what they do and how they think about their business. And so that I want to get that clarity for you as well. So I want to think of your brain as a beautiful garden. Okay. So you have these flowers that you planted and you're taking care of them, you're nourishing them. But if there's something wrong with the soil, like that, or we have a drought or something, it's hard for the flowers to grow. So similarly, our brain, sometimes there's things in our brain that prevent flowers from growing, I'm going to say, to carry the metaphor out. So one of the things is, this confidence. And so if we don't have confidence, even though we're doing all the right things, we still project somehow the lack of confidence. And I'm not saying that, you have to be completely confident 100% of the time. That's not what I'm saying at all. We're going to work on 4 confidence mindset shifts that I want you to make or think about making. So it's not like you have to be perfect all the time. That's not anything that I would ever tell anybody. I certainly don't live that way for myself. But starting to feel like you have something unique to offer the world, which in fact is the first confidence shift. And so the way this works today, every day, there's going to be a really short exercise. This one we're going to do together. So we're going to do a little bit of reflection, and then you're going to write an I am statement. So you can do that right in your workbook. And I'm going to put the workbook link back in there in case anybody has not yet been able to grab it. And so let's go through each one. So this first one is, I have something valuable and unique to offer to the world. So you don't have to raise your hand if you don't want to, but is there anybody who fully believes that and has no problem leaning into that? If you want to raise your hand, you certainly can. Great. Okay, medium, like yes and no, maybe. Okay. So let's go through kind of what I mean by this. So I believe that there are a lot of things that we bring to the world that are uniquely us. Think through like the characteristics that you have. Are you a hard worker? Are you super creative? Are you, really willing? Are you a good listener? Are you a good manager? What are you? Are you kind? Are you generous? However you would describe your characteristics, I want to take a moment and celebrate them. They are part of all, put them all together, and they're part of what makes you you. And I want to recognize that. So in addition to your characteristics, there's your values and your talents and your knowledge. And again, all of those together make you uniquely you, and they allow you to bring something to the world that no one else can bring. So the I am statement that I'd like you to write for yourself is, I am a successful business owner. Even if you don't consider yourself successful yet, I want you to go with it, right? We're going to manifest here. I am a successful business owner because I blank. And we're not going to read these out loud unless somebody wants to, but I want you to think it through and write something down. Why are you uniquely success? What about you makes you a successful business owner, or will make you a successful business owner in the future? I'm going to give you just a couple seconds to think about that, and just you can type it right into your workbook. And for the people that have joined us new, if you haven't gotten your workbook, there's the link in the chat. And if anybody would like to share, you're certainly welcome to. Absolutely not required. Would anybody like to share? You can just come off mic, or I mean, come off mute.
I'll just say that I am very friendly.
Great. That's wonderful. That's so helpful, right? When you can attract people, be friendly, not scare them away. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to share?
Hi, it's Candy. I believe in what I'm selling, and I really enjoy helping other vendors and other people.
Perfect.
So I saw that. So
that's so good. That belief in what you're selling is so critical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? We'll do one more if anybody wants to. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next one here. This is another statement that not everybody believes initially. So if I take the first steps, the path will become clearer. So one of the things that I see a lot is people being held back because they can't see the whole path to success. And these tend to be people who are super organized and or perfectionists. And so they are very uncomfortable sort of just, leaping and waiting for the net to appear, or taking the first step and letting the path reveal itself. And I think we all know, we've probably seen it in our own businesses, but also we know successful business owners where their business looks very different now than it did when it started. And it's because they have shifted what they're doing just according to what they've learned about the market, about the customers, about their products and services, about themselves. And so the path is going to shift for you. And I think it's really helpful to just sort of embrace this belief that the path will become clear if I take the first steps. So my question is, what would happen if you just took the first steps? So here's your next statement. I am not afraid to take steps toward my goals because why? This is clearly a belief, right? Why do you believe you're not afraid to take steps? And again, this could be manifesting. Like maybe you are currently a little bit held back, but this is manifesting, what you actually would like to put out into the world with your confidence. Would anybody like to share this statement? Becky?
I think that this is what you're kind of going for anyway. I believe that my skills are in demand.
Yes, right. And so you'll just see, right? Your skills are in demand. So just put it out there and see what happens. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, it's Autumn.
Hi, Autumn. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. Sorry, I'm not on camera. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm here.
No worries. Thank you.
I think the reason I'm not afraid to take steps for this is because I really don't have a lot to lose for me, and it's something I just like to do. So it's kind of like high upside, low downside potential.
Right. Right. That's great. That's a great way to look at it too. Like, why not? Why am I not doing this?
Yeah.
Why not try? I love that.
Hi, it's Candy again. I feel like this is kind of a first step for me to learn more about where to go next with my business. So I hope that I learn stuff and can move on from there.
That's great. Yes. So I'm not afraid to take steps because I've already learned so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you just know that you'll learn more every step you take.
Yep.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. So let's go to the next one. The next one is I can ideate and execute, but not at the same time. So this happens a lot, I think, with entrepreneurs because they tend to have lots and lots of ideas. And so they're always in ideation mode and they find it hard to turn that off and then switch to execution. And in fact, they don't want to be only in execution because that's not as fun. It's not as interesting to them and it's not as fulfilling. And so I think this idea that you don't have to give up the ideation for what many consider the boring execution, but you can do both, but you can do them in turn. So you have to create something, ideate something, create something new, and then shift to your execution mode. And then perhaps you can even pause that, come back to like, okay, how am I going to execute this? Go back to ideation mode. Okay, let me think of the different ways that I could do this, and then switch back to execution. And so it keeps, for the highly creative people, it keeps them engaged because they're executing, but they're still pausing and then kind of brainstorming new ideas for the execution, not just for the big idea, but for these different steps of the execution. So I don't know if this is anybody on the call's particular struggle, but once you understand and kind of believe that you can do this and that execution is not like a dirty word or boring, I think it really, really changes the trajectory of your business, because if you're always in ideation, you'll never get anything done and you won't make any forward progress. So, strategies for this are time blocking. This works okay for me. Sometimes I'm a little squishy on my boundaries about when something is time blocked, but it does help. So at least I don't lose track of the thing. So I'll put a time block to like do this report or something. And then even if I don't do it right then, it's in my mind again. Idea capture. This is huge for me and for a lot of people who have lots of ideas, highly creative people. I need a mechanism and a strategy to capture all my ideas for the future. So I have Post-it notes is my big strategy. I have a wall of Post-it notes at my house. I have a wall of clipboards, and each clipboard is like a separate category of idea. And then I just put different scribbled notes and Post-it notes and different pieces of paper on those. And so for me, and sometimes I even just text myself the idea. So whatever your strategy is to capture those ideas, I think it's really important too, because then you can set them aside for a moment. My fear sometimes when I don't capture them is that I'll lose them. And that was probably a good idea. And I might want to come back to that. And so having a strategy to capture them allows me to put it aside for a minute mentally and then work on the execution. Another thing that helps a lot is having standard operating procedures. So you're not continually reinventing the same process over and over again. You have a process for this. It almost doesn't take that much thought. You just do it, and then you can get back to what you might consider to be the fun stuff. So I'm going to go to the mindset shift, but I would also love, or the I am statement, but I would also love after that to hear any strategies that you have that work well for this, for you, for focus, time blocking, idea capture, whatever it might be. So here is the I am statement. I am able to focus separately on ideation and execution because what? And this could be your strategy. It could be your mindset, whatever is relevant for you. And you can let me know when you are ready to share, if you are. Anyone want to share? Sandy?
I actually use time blocking. I've used it in another job, and sometimes it's difficult, like you said, to stick to that schedule, but you still know in the back of your mind that this, you're in this mode or that mode, and that's what you need to turn things on. So yeah, I definitely use time blocking.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Did you complete your sentence because I time block, or how did you complete your?
I said I can use time blocking to organize my steps.
Great. Great. Thank you.
I
Anybody
have
else
one.
Great.
I kind of do something similar to time blocking. It's kind of time blocking plus space blocking, I guess. I physically move myself to a new space. So I'm a digital artist, but I have an art studio, and I probably don't need an art studio for my iPad and my pen and my printers, but it really helps me to, when I'm at home, I'm doing the taxes and the emails and the stuff like that, but I can do that from anywhere. But when I'm at my studio, I am producing, packaging, creating, that's my creation space. And so when I'm there, I avoid all of the more administrative or ideation tasks and do the creation piece.
That is really powerful. I feel like I have sometimes similar things, although it's not as structured as that. So I think that would really help me. Yeah.
It can even be different spaces, like in the house. Before I had my studio, it was like, if I'm in this room, this is what I'm doing. I work from home for my day job. So it's like, I can't sit at my day job desk and do my side business.
Right.
It doesn't work.
That's good. I like that. Thank you for sharing that.
As far as my artwork goes, I know that the execution goes much smoother and quicker if I've spent quality time doing the ideation. The idea has been thoroughly, covered, all aspects.
And so do you structure?
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Hard part is that I could spend a lot of time ideating, but I also know that that's the meat and potatoes. The actual execution of the idea seems to be like second nature after
that's good.
I have all the idea covered.
Yeah.
But see, that's just one aspect of it. I have a website and I need to figure out that's the time blocking for, separating the art from the commercial, if you will, part of it.
Right. Well, right. Because
mechanical.
It's the business piece, right?
Yeah.
The creation and then doing the work and then the business piece. So it's really kind of three things. Yeah. Yeah. And I think the ideation also is something that kind of happens while we're doing other things sometimes. So, like you're doing the dishes and you're like, ooh, what would be cool? And so having sort of structure time for ideation is sometimes challenging because sometimes the news just isn't there, right?
It's really easy for me to drive over 100 miles and not remember passing anything in particular because I can see what I'm visualizing in front of me. I still may stay on the road, but
yes.
yeah, but yeah, I spent a lot of time doing that.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's go to the last one. So the last one is, I don't have to do this alone. I have said for a long time that women they make unstoppable entrepreneurs because we don't typically worry about asking for directions. Like we do it, remember when before GPS, there's all those jokes about, a man never stopping to ask for directions and women always being able to and willing to. And I think though that that has changed a little bit in our society. It's self-made is so celebrated, even though we all know that's ridiculous. It's not true because no one does it in a vacuum. But I think sometimes we also get in our heads for whatever other reason, and we don't ask for help. And so I think knowing that there's support systems out there, we are so fortunate to live in our region. There's so much support, entrepreneurial support here. Aviatra, of course, is one piece of that. That there's going to be somebody who can help you. There's going to be somebody who can help you. And so you might as well ask, right? Like everybody is everybody's trying to reinvent the wheel and there's just no need at all. And I think it's so much fun when you come into a community and you of other entrepreneurs and you realize, oh, they're doing something similar, but they already figured that out. And I can help them with this piece that they haven't yet figured out. It's just so empowering and supportive at the same time. So some of the support systems that I have personally used and that we offer at Aviatra is membership programs, masterminds, and business besties, right? So where do you meet your business besties that you can work with, maybe partner with, cheer each other on? A lot of times people meet in our programs or at our events. And so, of course, you are all invited to everything Aviatra. But I want you to think about how you can kind of claim this in your own life. So the I am statement is I am aware I can't do it all alone, and that's okay. I ask for help with blank, and the way I ask for help is blank. So even if you're not really doing this yet, I think you can, again, we're manifesting, you can make a plan. I ask for help with these aspects of my business and or my personal life, right? It might be like I ask for help with childcare so that I can focus on my business. Or it might be I ask for help with getting my, somebody doing my taxes for me so that I can focus on my business. And the way I ask for help is what? And so is this reaching out to a friend? Is this like a formal, outreach to like a new accountant that you want to interview? Or is this meeting people at networking events? I mean, it could be several things. So I'd love to hear what people wrote down for this one.
So I have a brick and mortar where I have other vendors in the shop with me, but my main thing is my nut business. So when I got really overwhelmed with all the other aspects of selling the nuts, and then I had the vendors come in, which tied me to the brick and mortar. So now I hired someone to do most of my baking. And I was still tied down to the shop. So I was, again, neglecting my own business. But I have promoted her to be a manager. So now I can leave the shop and I can go out and I can do my wholesaling, which is what I really want to do. So
wonderful.
I hired help, but that was me asking for help too. But now I have time to do other things for my own business. So that was how I ask.
Yeah, I think asking for help is the same thing as hiring, right? It's either asking for it for free or in exchange or for money. And that's wonderful. It's a scary step to hire somebody.
It is, especially when you give up control of your product to them and you have to trust them that they won't change it, or, that it'll still be the same thing that you did. It is scary.
Yeah.
So,
but also the possibility that that person might have amazing ideas that you wouldn't have had. So it's, you're taking some risk, but you're also opening yourself up to some really good
right. And that kind of goes back to the ideation too, because I haven't had enough time to really concentrate on the product and making new products. So now I'm kind of freed up for that too with this step.
Yeah.
So
that's great. Another good strategy.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else want to weigh in? Becky?
Why am I having so much trouble? It's like I forgot how to use Zoom today. Sorry. Like I know how to do that. One of the things that I did fairly early on was to get somebody to do my bookkeeping for me, because it did not take me long to realize, I mean, it was very quick that I was like, oh, this is not anything that I am really capable of pulling off by myself. Not even just like, oh, I'm an artist, so I can't do math. It wasn't even that. It was just that it was so complicated. And I didn't want to make, the Internal Revenue Service angry with me. And like, there was all of these factors in there. And so at this point, one of the best, I think, I was worried because obviously I was going to have to, that was overhead that and so that's an investment. I found another female starting out a business on her own with,
Lovely.
very, she was experienced, but she hadn't done anything as her own business yet, really. And so I asked her the most ridiculously stupid questions, and she is so patient with me. I feel like I need to probably find somebody at this point to do marketing or website stuff. It's sort of the same thing. It's such a specific skill set. And could I learn it? Yes. Do I?
Does it make sense for you to learn it?
No,
Yes.
it doesn't.
It doesn't. I know. Good for
There are
you.
other people that can do it much easier than I can. And the learning curve is I mean, it's kind of halfway there, but I feel like that's my next, is trying to find somebody that can do that stuff.
Yes.
Because I've had people comment about me needing to do better marketing or a better website. But I could do that, or I could do my actual business,
Right.
like,
Right. And well, there's always a balance between pipeline development and doing the work. And, that sometimes there's an ebb and a flow. And so, if you're really busy because it's wedding season, great. Like, bring in the money, right?
right.
Yeah. And did you see, Becky, that Autumn had a recommendation?
Yes. It's like half of the Hellman is here right now. It seems
Yeah,
like.
I was just gonna say we're all studio mates, and
That's
then
so
Candy,
good.
I think I sold next to you in Covington last month or 2 months
Oh
ago.
my gosh,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah, we're all friends. But yeah, I agree with that. And I think like one of the other things that I'm giving myself permission to do is there are a lot of things that I do know how to do very well.
Mhm.
By day, I'm a brand manager, so I do know the digital marketing. I know the website build stuff and the SEO, but I don't want to do that for my hobby. And so it's been really hard for me to say, I'm going to pay someone to do this work that I know how to do, but it strips the joy out of the creative process for me. And I don't want to do my day job again for my hobby.
Right.
So it's like,
I know that could
even if you
burn out.
have the skill, knowing what you want to focus on and like what brings you joy and what lights your fire, it's important. And that's been a big stall for me. I actually just hired somebody to work on my website, so I can
Good.
pass that info along to
Congratulations.
anybody else who wants it. But yeah, it's been a relief to hand that
Yeah.
off to somebody and
And I
not
think
think I should do this.
one of the, ways to set the stage for that in your business, I'm sure you've done this, Autumn, is just to, okay, now as Becky said, that's overhead. Okay, so now I just have higher overhead, which just changes my income goals, which
Yeah.
changes my activities. And so we're going to work
I'm
on that.
willing to pay for it.
Right. Right. Thank you all for sharing. So let's go back for a moment to our $1 million business owners here and talk about what they're doing. So one of their characteristics is that they're all really hard workers. We don't have anybody who got into this for the easy button, right? That's not why they got into it. So they're hard workers. They really believe in their products and services, which, as we said earlier, that's so critical. If you don't really believe in what you're doing, it's really hard to get anybody else to believe in it. And so the other part of that is you're spending so much time and energy on something. If you don't really believe that it's worth it, maybe a different idea would be better for you. Don't try to see the whole path. These women, same thing. Their businesses have taken turns and twists that they could not have predicted. And so it's okay. They know that now when they're building bigger things, that they don't have to see the whole thing. They have learned how to focus. They often also, by $1 million, you have to have, a team, whether that's all contractors or some of them are W-2s or whatever, or vendors. And so they've learned how to delegate as well. And they all sought support. I mean, that's how I know them, through Aviatra. So no shame in that. So this will be you. This is going to be you next time we do this here. So you're going to be one of our $1 million business owners. I know this. And just a preview for tomorrow, we're going to talk about finding your people. And so I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. It was wonderful to have you. So great that you were able to share your thoughts and your I am statements. And I'm really looking forward to working with you again tomorrow. Thank you all so much. I'll send out the recordings. Thank you. Bye.